Hi, gang. This is Boomer with Occupy Democrats. Well, Agent Orange is catching heat from every corner, but this latest pressure cooker is a whopper. The ghost of Ronald Reagan just came back to haunt Donald Trump. Damn, Donald, haven't you ever heard the old school expression, if you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen? You wonder why this guy is losing followers left and right. And the big joke these days is when asked by a MAGA moron why you're voting for Kamala, the reply is, because I have one brain cell. Some go even further. Bill Maher offered this up over the weekend.
This is what he's basing his campaign on now. That in Springfield, Illinois, Springfield, always the name of the town where the invasions come, whether it's a body snatcher. Now it's Haitian migrants, he says, are eating the dog. I couldn't make this shit up. Today, I can't. How can you top this? Today, Trump is walking it back. He said, no, I'm sorry, it's not the not the cats and the dogs that they're eating. It's the ducks and the geese. They're going to the ponds and they're taking the geese to eat them. And this is what Trump supporters are doing now, trying to prove that this Facebook meme, this insanity that he's basing the campaign on is true. They're literally on a wild goose chase. It's so interesting. As the list of animals keeps growing and growing, like Noah's Ark, if Noah was a fat asshole. The most ridiculous part of this whole thing is Trump defending dogs. Trump hates dogs. He's the one guy in the world who hates dogs. The only president who didn't have a dog. Everything bad, he's look at dog. Look at dogs. Look at dog. Dogs, they're rapists. And they bring drugs, and some, I assume, are good boys.
Seems that at every turn, Trump cannot get out of the heat. Picture him sweating. Those Reagan ghosts are coming right up. But first, a little bit about Reagan. Sure, he's been called the greatest Republican president in modern times. But did you know that he had an ugly racist side as well?
On the heels of President Trump using disparaging imagery to describe African nations, new tapes have just been released by the National Archives that reveal similar language used by the late President Ronald Reagan. So let me take you back to 1971, and it was Reagan, who was, by the way, the governor of California at the time, was on the phone with then President Richard Nixon. And so during this conversation, Reagan referred to leaders of African nations as, quote, monkeys, and then President Nixon gets in his own dig. Here you go.
And last night, I tell you, to watch that thing on television, as I did, yeah, to see those monkeys from those African countries, damn, they're still uncomfortable wearing shoes.
Well, and then the tail wags the dog there, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The tail wags the dog.
So despite the fact that Reagan was not without his own racism, more than a dozen Republicans who worked under Ronald Reagan are now endorsing Kamala Harris. According to reporting by CBS, the group says we're choosing between integrity and demagoguery, between truth and lies, and that choice demands we support Harris-Walz. The statement continued, President Reagan spoke about a time for choosing. While he is not here to experience the current moment, we who worked for him in the White House know good and well he would join us in supporting the Harris-Walz ticket. So while we know Trump has not pioneered racism among presidential contenders, we see just how deep and hateful and obnoxious his brand can be. He actually leans into racism with a gusto usually reserved for positive personal beliefs and ideals like freedom and justice and democracy. Here he goes again during last week's infamous debate.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there.
Well, that performance may have caused damage beyond repair. That's why conservatives from as far back as Reagan find him appalling and unfit. And that's also why we see Harris's lead expanding with the results of each new poll. It's true, polls can be inexact and even misleading, but Trump's true ugly colors are damaging his campaign with each passing day. And for that, former Reagan and Bush insiders who now condemn Agent Orange, we salute you. This is Boomer, and this Boomer hits different with Occupy Democrats.